It held eye contact, it smiled, it nodded like it was actually listening, and for a moment, people forgot they were looking at a machine. This is Moya, and it might be the most unsettling robot ever built. A Shanghai company called DroidUp just unveiled what they're calling the world's first fully biomimetic humanoid robot. And that phrase matters, because Moya isn't designed to look human. It's designed to feel human. We're not talking about walking in a straight line or waving at a camera. We're talking about micro expressions. Those tiny, almost invisible movements around the eyes and cheeks that your brain reads before you even consciously process them. Moya can reproduce them, and that changes everything about how an interaction feels. It stands 5 feet 5 inches, weighs just 70 pounds, moves with 92% accuracy compared to human gait. Not just stable, but natural enough that your brain stops tracking the mechanics and starts reacting socially. Oh, and it's warm. DroidUp built in a surface temperature between 89 and 97 degrees Fahrenheit. So if you're standing close to it, it doesn't feel like metal. It feels like a person. When videos hit Chinese social media, reactions split instantly. Half the comments, "This is the future." The other half, "This gave me chills." That's the uncanny valley, and Moya is living right in the middle of it. But here's where it gets stranger, because Moya isn't even the most extreme story this week. While Moya was turning heads in Shanghai, a completely different Chinese humanoid was walking through a blizzard, alone, at negative 53 degrees Fahrenheit. Unitree's G1 robot completed a 130,000 step autonomous trek across a frozen landscape in Xinjiang, tracing the shape of a Winter Olympics logo 186 meters long through conditions where batteries die, lubricants freeze, and plastics crack. Engineers dressed it in an insulated puffer jacket, added plastic covers over its joints, used satellite navigation for centimeter-level precision. It finished. The G1 is compact, 4 feet 2 inches, about 77 pounds, but it runs on reinforcement learning, 3D LiDAR, and a unified large robotics model, and it starts at just over $14,000. Unitree shipped more than 5,500 humanoid robots in 2025 alone. This isn't a prototype anymore. Then there's the one that fell. Chinese EV maker Xpeng brought its iron humanoid to a shopping mall. Full catwalk, crowd interaction, a child standing next to it for optics. Iron has 62 joints, 22 degrees of freedom per hand, a curved display for a face, and 3 AI chips processing 2,250 trillion operations per second. It walked smoothly. The crowd was impressed. Then it just fell backward. Staff rushed in, caught it partially, and carried it off stage. The next day, Iron came back, strapped to a support frame, and stuck to answering trivia questions. That fall became one of the most viewed robotics moments on Chinese social media this week, because no matter how advanced the specs are, one stumble is all it takes to remind everyone, we're not there yet. Meanwhile, Harvard engineers are rethinking the mechanics underneath all of this. They've developed a new robotic joint inspired by the human knee. Curved surfaces that roll and slide, reducing the need for heavy actuators. In testing, a 2-finger gripper built this way held 3 times the weight of a conventional design using the same motor. It's the difference between brute forcing movement and actually understanding how bodies work. And in the US, Westwood Robotics is solving a problem most companies haven't even acknowledged. Humanoids that stop walking when they need to use their hands. Their Themis Gen 2.5 does both simultaneously, walking and manipulating objects at the same time, using sensor fusion, semantic mapping, and arms that now handle over 11 pounds each. It's not just about moving through the world anymore. It's about working in it. So here's where we actually are. Robots that maintain eye contact and feel warm to the touch. Robots that walk alone through Arctic blizzards. Robots that fall in front of crowds and get back up. The question was never if robots would become human enough to make us uncomfortable. The question is, what do we do when they already have?